No, not you. You're one of my favorites. Huh? Oh. Right, okay. Hello, and welcome to Doogal's Den. I'm the Doogal. Obviously, today, if you haven't noticed, we are talking about Dragon's Lair. Best game ever made. After the summer of '82, a little movie called E.T. came out and sort of destroyed anything that was in the movie theaters at the time. There was this really interesting cartoon called Secret of NIMH. Probably the best cartoon ever made by none other than Don Bluth. That movie came out and E.T. crushed it. It was a big flop, so he had to go back to the drawing board. It looked like maybe there wasn't going to be any more animation in his future. Luckily, Rick Dyer came along, saw Secret of NIMH, and absolutely loved the animation and said, oh my god, I need this guy to animate my video game, because he had this idea, this crazy wacky idea to incorporate laser discs into arcades because it'll actually record video, and he thought, how can I incorporate that? He was like, I gotta do something better, so he went to laser discs. So Rick Dyer had this great idea for a game called Secrets of the Lost Woods, and he had it on this little machine, and he was shopping it around to other, various companies, and nobody could figure out how to get it off the ground. They didn't know how to make this thing work, so he dropped that. Okay, we nixed that, and that's when he went down the Laserdisc technology path, and then started going from there. So they had this small budget of about $1 million to work on this game, and they didn't really think they were going to make anything. They thought, well, we'll have fun with it, whatever. What do we got to lose, right? We're already losing everything. So they had about a few months to work on it. They worked on the animation a little bit, and they came up with a prototype. So they had a kind of a working game going. And they took it to this game con. It was sort of like where, they were showing it off, and it blew up. It exceeded expectations. Apparently everybody seemed to, oh my god, what is this? So the premise basically is Dirk the Daring, is on a quest to go to this castle to save Princess Daphne from an evil dragon. The dragon basically keeps her in a little snow globe, and she's stuck, and Dirk basically has to go through different rooms and defeat all the bosses in each room to get to the next room, and then till you get to the end, the final boss is the dragon. You kill the dragon, you save the girl, and you have many babies. And that's basically the plot line of Dragon's Lair. It was the Don Bluth animation, which is amazing. I mean, it's Disney-esque, and so it looks amazing, and then the new Laserdisc technology just blew up, and it actually saved, because the market was going to crash for arcades at the time. That nobody was playing them anymore. There wasn't any new fresh ideas, and so this came out and everybody was like, what is that? And not only did it reinvigorate the arcades, but this was the first game that cost 50 cents. 2 quarters. They used to cost 1 quarter. Now it's 2. Because it was new technology, obviously, that it ran off of a Laserdisc, which was like a huge, basically a giant CD, or giant DVD, as you kids talk about, it was like this big, like a record. And those things were expensive. It was new technology. So They needed a way to offset how much they were going to pay for these cabinets because they were super expensive. So, yep, thus the 50 cents a game was born. Every good story needs a MacGuffin. And of course, the MacGuffin of Dragon's Lair is Princess Daphne.
Please save me. The cage is locked with a key.
So they needed something to hook you in. Why are we going through all this chaos and, you know, I'm going to die, you know. I need to save you, or, you know, it's life or death. And, well, so we had to make Princess Daphne desirable. And so Don Bluth got his inspiration from many Playboys. he saw poses in Playboy and, you know, drew the inspiration for her. You need something, so he made a sex symbol, and he made her seductive, I guess. And her mannerisms and the way she acted and her voice was heavily inspired by Marilyn Monroe, I believe. And so we have Princess Daphne. In Dragon's Lair, there were many monsters and many obstacles you must get through. Some of the more memorable monsters would be the Giddy Goons. Or the Crypt Creeps. There's the Black Knight. Yeah, I don't know how he's related to the other Black Knight, but the one Black Knight has a sword and he shoots electricity. The other one has a sword and he wants to cut your head off. And he rides a horse. 8-Ball. The Magic 8-Ball does not like Dirk. There's giant bats. There's skulls. There's goo. Black goo comes after you. Unless fire. There's a lot of fire. Lizard King stands out there. I remember the first time I beat that scene was amazing, and that's a longer one. The tentacle scene. You're fighting with a sword, and then you fight with like a chain, and then an anvil comes up and attacks you, and you know, you gotta be on your feet on that one.
Be brave, valiant knight. Adventure awaits you as you journey through the castle, hunting for treasure, all while battling slimy snakes. The wretched Lizard King daringly swing across the fiery pit, all while dodging the Crypt Creeps and snapping skulls, before finally fighting the evil dragon and rescue the Princess Daphne. Lead on, adventurer. Your quest awaits.
In the early 2000s, one of the prototype versions was found, which is kind of cool, and it's completely playable. And apparently, they came out with the 20th anniversary DVD for Dragon's Lair, and it has Dragon's Lair 2, and Space Ace in a box set. Apparently, on the Dragon's Lair disc, they have the actual prototype, playable version of the prototype for you to play. There's some deleted scenes in there. There's actually one that they finished, because I don't think it was finished at the time, and they went ahead and finished it so you could play even another scene. It was like a storyboarded scene on the disc. It had like pigs throwing arrows at you. It was pretty stupid, but interesting to see. I really liked it. And we're still getting more deleted scenes. There's a lot of scenes where I've seen the cells of them, well, these pictures of them online. Like there's this big spider chase where there's a big web behind Dirk, and then he's got to climb up this tower or something. There's this huge spider after him, and you know, there's a lot of pictures, and it's like cells. Where are these cells? Does anybody know? Where are they? You know, and there's also like there's a scene in the game where this knight's on a horse and he's attacking you, and you got to dodge him, and then you end up escaping, and that's all. But there is a cell of Dirk dismounting this knight. Where are these? Because they're not in the game, and I would love to know, Mr. Bluth, Dyer, you guys know what's going on? What the hell? Why are you holding on to that? Let's address the elephant in the room. The Saturday morning cartoon Dragon's Lair. You know when you're a kid and you remember things and things you used to love doing or watching, and you're like, oh, the nostalgia, and you go watch it, you go, oh, yeah, I was a stupid kid. This was a Ruby Spears production. They did such a good job on this because this was such an important cartoon. There's a few episodes there's no sound. Game Boy Color version of Dragon's Lair. Game Boy had a couple versions of Dragon's Lair that were terrible. They tried to mimic the game, and it was just a slow, clunky mess. But this one was actually a fairly decent port, believe it or not, to the actual arcade. I have my iArcade Dragon's Lair. Of course, the Brother Space Ace, he doesn't count. But then we have the Arcade 1-Up. And as much as I love this thing, this is probably one of my favorite upright cabinets I have, like to this size. I'm still super disappointed in it because it could have been so much better for so much less. But this is what you get. This one says Replitronics where it should say Cinematronics, and this one says Cinematronics where this one says Replitronics, right here on the coin door. If you look on the coin door, this one is more arcade accurate. This was a Kickstarter machine. I paid $80 for it. And boy, am I glad I did, because it was worth every penny. This one was $130. And it was not a Kickstarter. This is called the Overhaul Edition. Out of the backs of the two systems are the Laserdisc players. This was the original Panasonic, I think it was. It was Laserdisc Model 3 it says, but basically it looks like this. It has a remote that goes on top, which I kept in the bag because I've lost the remote before. And the little Laserdisc sits in there. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Very nice, very nice. And then this is the updated Laserdisc. It doesn't come with a remote, but it's essentially the same player. So yeah, same. I mean, it's a Laserdisc player. I think it's a less glitchy version, more reliable and accurate. But yeah, I mean, this doesn't do anything, but it's a nice touch that they added to an otherwise beautiful system. Yeah. All right. So that was Dragon's Lair. I hope you enjoyed it. Best game ever made, like I said. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I got to say about that. Oh, by the way, what's your favorite game? Tell me below. I'd like to know.